bounty hunters? What's this about an emergency situation? Divine Leader Thread asked, before her subordinate holds up a data slate that then activates to give her the feed of a drone, showing a gigantic monster that appears to have hollowed out an ancient Empire warship and wearing it as armor. The cannons, designed for planetary bombardment, launch green chunks trailing greasy black smoke at a tiny figure that is then zoomed in on, revealing an air truck with a local begrob upon it and firing kinetic rounds at the monster, a very familiar Nagasha boy next to her who bobs in time to unheard music as one of the humans is driving the vehicle and looking like he's driving for the sake of pleasure and not actively evading hostile bombardment. Where did this creature come from, and why did these bounty hunters provoke it? Apparently it is the entity responsible for the Shimmering Sand events, meaning it has effectively stolen hundreds of tons of raw material from the Empire and kidnapped, likely consumed, thousands upon thousands of our citizens. The woman states, and Divine Leader Thread considers for a moment. And what are the Chainbreakers doing about it? Thread asks. They are requesting permission to use planetary bombardment on Mordennon to kill it. The woman states, and Divine Leader Thread frowns. Deny it. Tell them that we will be the ones to open fire upon our world. If this creature has been haunting our citizens, then it is our duty to see it destroyed. Girls, what ship do we have in firing range of this abomination? The staff of unrelenting wrath has the creature within its firing arcs. Then inform them of this monster and tell them I want whatever remains of it to fit upon my mantle. They are to work with the Chainbreakers to ensure we have no allied or civilian casualties. This creature has the blood of Imperial citizens upon it. It gets not one drop more. Divine Leader Thread commands, and the message is passed along. Yellow? Airfarce answers the communication device built into the truck. We're working with the Empire on this one. One of their ships is going to take the shots instead, Bike states. Huh? So does that mean rather than a laser barrage, it's going to be struck with the most holy wrath of the most divine Empire, manifested as sacred light that burns the unclean? Airfarce asks in a mocking tone. Well, considering it's coming from the staff of unrelenting wrath, he says slowly, and Airfarce snorts. Seriously? Seriously. Damn, and there was a time I thought the Chainbreaker was pretentious. Airfarce notes. I always thought it was more a way to say, we are definitely not the Chaining, even though it's the same damn ship, Slytherin says. Could you two be any more casual about the giant bug monster? Sally demands as she pauses in her firing at the creature. Yes, but even I can't drive in my sleep, Airfarce replies before pausing. Well, I can, but not a truck. Still working on that. I bet Onyx appreciates that. Slytherin needles him. Considering that it's translated into foreplay more than once, she does, Airfarce says, and then cackles as Slytherin makes a face. If you can't take the heat, get the hell out of the kitchen, kid. Right. Well, the line is still open, so I figure you should know that I'm linking you up to the staff of Unrelenting Wrath. Stupid name. Yes, but don't tell them that. They're going to coordinate with you so they can shoot the damn monster. Now remember your manners. I'm hooking you up in 3, 2, 1. Chainbreaker ground team, this is the staff of Unrelenting Wrath. You must reach these coordinates within the next minute for us to begin orbital bombardment upon the creature. Do you understand? Keep your finger on the trigger. We'll be there with time to burn. Airfarce agrees as he adjusts the flight path. Sally, Scaly, both of you grab on and hold on hard. Sally crouches down and Slytherin coils around one of the seats before Airfarce slams the accelerator into the floor, and all three of them feel a kick in the everything as the air truck shows off just how powerful an engine Airfarce upgraded it with. In short, one rated for a starfighter. There is a bang as the sound barrier gives up trying to hold him back, and then the accelerator is let go and they slow before skidding to a stop. And, coordinates reached. Feel free to fire, Airfarce says casually into the communication link. By the Empress, what have you done to that truck? I gave it a lot of personal attention and love. This sucker is not race legal, let me tell you that, Airfarce says, and there's a pause. Right. Well, we expected you to take longer, and we'll need to wait a few more moments so it has some distance from potential civilian targets. How much longer? 5. 5? 4. Ah, got it, Airfarce says, and everyone turns to watch the monster rushing over the horizon line towards them. Apparently, the sonic boom had insulted it, or provoked it, or whatever. Regardless, it was still after them. Firing. The staff of Unrelenting Wrath reports, and there is light. Behind the protective biolens of her helmet, Sally's eyes widen at the sight of a beam of bright white light slamming down from the heavens to crash into the giant monster. Slithern has closed his organic eye and is getting a very unhappy series of readings from his cybernetic orb. I don't think it's working, Slithern notes even as Airfarce's eyebrows climb over the shades as he sees the shield that the giant monster is now projecting. Staff, this is ground force. You've maybe given it a light tan. I repeat, target has an anti-laser shield. Bombardment ineffective. Suggest switching to plasma or kinetic munitions. Understood, ground force. Is the target still interested in you? We require the creature to be led further away from civilian areas before proceeding with plasma lances. We'll get its attention again. Stand by, Airfarce says. Sally, open fire. Scaly, channel some axiom into the bullets so they get the attention we need. Sally aims at the gigantic thing thrashing in fury on the horizon line and waits for Slithern to reach around and grab the ammo box. There's the twisting of axiom, and after a moment, Slithern nods. She adjusts her aim ever so, accounting for the wind, the distance, and the sheer size of the bullets. Then opens fire. It takes a full second and a half for the bullets to actually impact the monster. The creature roars in fury even as it shelters its face, and when the barrage ends, it looks and sees a tiny thing on the horizon. It roars again and charges as fast as it can. Here it comes, Sally says. Staff, where do you want us? Airfarce asks. Coordinates incoming. We've taken your engine power into account now. Much obliged, displacing now. Everyone brace, Airfarce states, and they shift before he slams his foot on the accelerator again and they begin to move. This time there's no mistaking it. The creature is even faster. And if the halo of light and power at the rear is any indication, it has working engines, which to be honest is fucking terrifying, but nowhere near so horrible as the massive cannons along its superstructure lifting up and shifting position on the end of massive tendrils and all focusing directly at them. The sky fills with acid-drenched slag, and despite just barely staying under the sound barrier, Airfarce is forced to swerve to avoid the hissing and melting metal from slamming into them. Staff, this is ground force. Target has increased speed and reoriented its cannons to begin its own bombardment. We will not be able to stay still after reaching coordinates. Confirmed, ground forces. We will adjust our firing solutions. Stay alive. Copy that, Airfarce answers even as he dodges another chunk of slag. It's trying to herd me into a kill zone. Cheeky beast, isn't it? Slithern asks, while he imbues further power into the ammunition, even as Sally gives it to the monster one burst at a time. This is just another day for the two of you, isn't it? We've fought bigger, Airface remarks. We've also seen bigger collateral, Slithern adds, and more dangerous axiom effects. The shimmering sands could be avoided through groundwater. The attention of the pale generators would get you even if you said something that sounded like their keywords. Those things were horrifying, Slithern notes. Yep, Airfarce agrees. What were they? Sally asks after another burst. Really, really messed up clones, designed to kill anything that said the wrong thing that wasn't one of them, which meant that only the person they were cloned from was safe. And her clones. Even a Grace was the downright definition of a mad cloner, Slithern says, and Airfarce nods. Thank God Ivan had his head on straight after all that mess, Airfarce remarks. All right, we're reaching the coordinates in 3, 2, 1. There is a low booming sound as the bright afternoon light suddenly turns neon blue and the temperature spikes from hot to holy hell as a lance of plasma slams into the creature from above. For a single moment, the light is even more intense, and they cannot see the creature even with protective lenses or cybernetic eyes. There's just too much light. Then it fades and Airfarce avoids further bombardment. Target's still up. I repeat, target is still up. Copy that. We're seeing 0 damage from this angle. None from ours either, unless you count the fact that there is a coating of obsidian cooling on the claws of the monster, Airfarce says. God damn, Slithern notes. The thing hadn't projected a shield for the plasma. It had just ignored it. Its cannons are glowing, Sally says, and Air Force glances back just in time to see 3 of its cannons suddenly go from mildly glowing to clearly about to fire, and swerves hard. The now molten slag slams into where the truck was a half-second ago, with enough force to crater the dunes, even as the metal begins to rapidly cool, while simultaneously melting the sand around it to primitive glass. I think we made it mad, Slithern says. Either that, or it's got the weirdest mating rituals. Not it, Slithern says, and Air Farce chuckles. All right, that one went over my head, Sally states as she mentally decides to only panic if the people who've clearly done this shit before start panicking. Humans have a pheromone thing going on. They smell sexy to most races, and it's let them do all sorts of goofy things. I don't think that's going to work this time. Considering he's wearing a cologne that blocks it, no, it won't. If you could, would you? Sally asks. Where would I stick it? The engine? I'd get it burn off. But I thought you were an ass man, Slithern asks with the biggest grin on his face. Oh, so now it's funny and not gross, Air Farce demands. When I'm the one putting the boot in, it's always funny. It's about to fire again, Sally warns them, and Air Farce jucks the truck to the side and avoids a shot that shatters a dune and sends a plume of molten metal and glass high into the air. Hey guys, we're getting our firing orders from the staff. Keep your distance from the thing. We're sending in a salvo of rods from God. Anti-axiom rounds. Be ready. Copy that. We're going to keep moving. Good man, rods on the rails, launching in 3, 2, 1. They're away. What's a rod from God? Sally asks. Biggest bullet ever? Slithern answers as he points up, and she shifts her gaze just in time to see a trinity of blurs that slam into the creature and drive it into the ground so hard that the desert beneath it shatters and a gigantic plume of sand is kicked up and out. We're going to keep moving. The safe distance for that monster is a bit away, Air Farce says. By the way, kid, you are recording this, right? You bet. Run me off a copy. I want to watch it. I'll be having it on play in a situation room after the dust settles. Sounds good, Air Farce says, even as he finally slows the truck and turns it to the side so he can get a good view as well. The dust cloud has to at least be 3 kilometers high, and no doubt the nearest few cities felt that, if not the Orhanas below. Boy, won't this be fun to explain to our underground friends? Are you fucking kidding me? A gigantic form within the dust cloud stirs, and as the wind picks up, it reveals a gigantic monster with the rods sticking out of it. Clearly damaged, obviously hurt, but still alive. Well, fuck, Slithern says. You said it. We're gonna have to get creative, Air Farce says. And what happens when you get creative? Sally demands. Anything, really, Air Farce dismisses. I think it's dazed, Slithern notes. Reminded that we're here and it's still pissed at us. Air Farce answers as he revs the engine a bit. Well, this is definitely one that no one is going to believe, Sally says in a slightly stunned tone as she takes aim with the mounted gun. You're getting video. That should be proof enough in most places, Slithern says. I'm seeing this happen now and I'm still not sure it's real, Sally protests as she opens fire and grabs the attention of the monster once more. The chase resumes, except this time the abomination's engine is fully active and it starts flying. Air Farce immediately accelerates and then dodges several shots from the creature.